Hi guys, I'm Neil, I'm one of the cave guides here at Wookey Hole, and today I'm going to tell you a story that I found about this cave I'm standing in, the Witch's Kitchen, from 1839. Now what I'm going to tell you is the story behind why this is called the Witch's Kitchen. Now in 1839 the caves here, and there's a pub out there called the Wookey Hole Inn, and the paper mill, they were owned by a man called James Snellgrove. And James Snellgrove in effect ran the cave tours, albeit a much smaller affair back in those days. Now the story I found in a paper from North Devon, and it describes a group of people coming into the cave here, taken round by a young girl of 16 years old. Now in the story this girl has no name, but I found again from records that the likelihood is a lady, a girl called Maria Cooper. Maria Cooper worked for James Snellgrove. So in the story, the people would have probably come down this area of rock here behind me. This is the way you get to higher passageways, which then lead out to the valley. Okay, that is the original way into the cave. Now those people, they talk about making their way down into the first chamber and walking down a series of eight uneven steps. Okay, so this is the direction that those people would have been brought down into the cave. Now when they get to the bottom of these 8 steps, the guide Maria tells them about the witch's watching dog. Now here today, this is still known as the witch's dog, but again, the witch's watching dog. And what is this dog watching? Well, it's watching this passageway over here. Now in the dark, obviously this cave would look quite different, but if you can imagine walking in here, and this area here in darkness would very much appear as a corridor leading off into what they describe as the ladies' chamber or the witch's sitting room. Okay, so after being shown the corridor to the witch's sitting room, the group are brought down to this area of the cave here, down near the river. And it's at this point they're shown what is known as the witch's oven. So just over here, just behind the figure of the witch over here on my left, just here, what we have in front of me is something that resembles a bread oven of the 1800s. So if you look first of all, this canopy area here, beneath here, this is where the fire, the heat would be in the actual oven, and above where you have this white flowstone in this shape here, this is the actual part where the bread or whatever you were cooking would be put in the oven. So this, as I say, this is the witch's oven. Now the group, after seeing this, were then taken further into the caves. Okay, to make their way, they would actually walk up these steps just over here. Now these steps, we believe they're at least 2,000 years old, but these steps would have taken the party with Maria in front up to caves further behind here, into chambers 2, the Great Hall, and further to the witch's parlour. Okay, so the group were led by Maria up the steps to my left to this area of the cave. Now Maria then showed them this area just over here to my right. And the first thing the group noticed around the edge of this pond were little cards sparkling. So all these cards have been down here so long, they began to calcify. Closer inspection, each card had someone's name, a signature, and it would appear that at those days there was a tradition about coming into the cave, leaving this card behind to say that you'd actually maybe visited the caves here. And the other thing, and this is the thing for me which really makes this cave the Witch's Kitchen, is the pond. The pond was described in 1839 as the witch's fermenting tub. So imagine this pond here as the fermenting brew, as the witch's potion. But not only that, in the centre, this here was called the Barm Rising, and barm is the small foamy bubbles you get off of a fermenting brew. And so this witch down here, she had this fermenting tub with this thing boiling away in the corner. Now this and the other 2 things I mentioned really give a reason as to why this is called the Witch's Kitchen.